How you doing? It's your Wednesday guy, Khaiden here, and pretty much we're going to be talking about advice for parents for the holidays, especially with being around other family members and friends and whomever you may be around. So I know my main thing I definitely want to talk about is respect. So possibly getting the pronouns correct if your child has addressed pronouns with you, making sure those pronouns are being addressed because that will force other people around you to uh, call your son or your daughter by those pronouns, making sure that you're your child's number one support system, whether or not you support their transition or not, or their views of transitioning or not. Just making sure that you're their number one support system. Sometimes that's all your child needs. Sometimes it's just your support. You don't have to understand or like what they're doing. Just having your support when it there's trouble, like, not, I won't say trouble, when there's trials and tribulations, usually around the holidays when you're around family members who may be, opinionated and stuck in their ways, which is understandable, which is fine. However, to maintain respect in all forms in amongst each other, you definitely want to make sure that you know that is being taken care of. Pronouns or anything that your child may have addressed with you with their transition, or why they wear the clothes they wear, or anything like that. Anything that your child says, well, this is what I would prefer. This is what I like. Just like there's things, vice versa. There may be things that your child may not like that you do. However, because you're a parent, they respect that. And even though they may not agree with what you're doing, they respect you as an adult. Now, granted, we're talking about younger trans youth. Um, that is a little bit different. I'm not that young, um, so I would just say for the younger transgender people and people who are not out yet, um, having and if you told your parents, um, it's going to be a little bit different. But if you haven't and you're in that stage of trying to figure everything out, parents, please do not ridicule your child when you have support from your family members. That can cause some type of um, resentment that in the end that you don't mean it, because if your child did anything to themselves, you more than likely would feel some type of way towards it, especially if your child committed suicide or started to become suicidal due to your actions. And sometimes, I'm not going to say all the time, just making sure you have that respect for your child in all aspects, definitely. Also, another thing I would like to talk about is just being understanding. You don't have to be understood, but you have to have some type of understanding with your parents and your parents with you. So if I told my parents, "Hey, this is my name. This is what I want to be addressed as." Um, Also, and this is something that I want to say in return. Also, give your parents time. If you know, if you just told them 2 days before Christmas or 2 days before Thanksgiving that you're trans, it may be a little bit of adjustment period that they need in order to, get to that point of, okay, I respect you, and but if you feel like it's deliberate, just have that conversation with your parents and be like, hey, I feel like you're deliberately doing this. I would like for it to stop. Blah 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 blah. Another thing is talking about your child to other family members in a negative manner. That's something that should not happen at all, and is very disrespectful when talk of your child's personal business, because some people do not want others in their personal transition. I personally do not care. I told everybody, which some people be like, you shouldn't say that, but I'm like, whatever. Um, just telling, your child's personal business. Oh, they want to do this, and I'm not understanding. I don't understand. Keep that to yourself. Keep it to yourself. Please keep it to yourself. I had a guy message me on Instagram about his mother and father, who he is a minor. So they signed the papers for him to start hormones 3 months ago, and or is it 4, something like that. And they signed the papers. However, when the family members came around, they were like, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. Make sure when if your child is minor and you decide to sign those papers, that because in signing those papers to your child, that means that my parents understand me. My parents agree with my transition. So when you do things like that, it's like contradicting yourself, um, which we all do. It's all about learning. Trust me, guys. Transitioning, and especially for you as the person who's transitioning, is all about learning. However, in the essence of that, your parents are learning. People around you, family, friends are learning who you are now. So it takes some time for everybody, especially if they're not around you a lot. Um, Another thing would be to this video is getting pretty long. Make sure you maintaining respect comes with the pronouns, and um, making sure you address your child with the respectful pronouns in which they like for themselves. Ears itchy. Um, that's really all I have to say, guys. I'm probably, once I finish this video, I'm gonna have like 60 million other things to say. Probably 60 million better things to say. But I have to really get back to I have to get back to studying. So yeah, it's Khaiden. It's your Wednesday guy, and I'm out.